Hi, this is Judy with Living Small News. Deep state, shadow government, and secret societies. That's what we want to talk about today. And need to get to the article. Gowdy on FBI agents' text about secret society, a stunning level of bias. I have a small clip. You can go here. I'll put the link in the description. But I do have a small clip that I found on YouTube with it extracts the most important information, but you can look at the whole video, like I said here, and let's take a look at that.
Well, we need to know a couple of things. Number one, we need to know how the world's premier law enforcement agency managed to lose 5 months worth of text. And what's also troubling is in the text we do have, they're discussing how to avoid text being captured and secured. So what's missing is important, but also what's there is important. It is manifest bias, not just against Trump, but against his kids, against his business interests. There's a text where they hope the Trump hotel fails. That is a level of bias that you rarely see and you never see from law enforcement officers. What's also troubling to me is this text that Johnny Radcliffe found last night about this secret society. Now, I have no clue what that means because that was not the phraseology I used, but it's the day after the election, and it's the same two people that were discussing a little bit later in the text the damage they had done with the Clinton investigation and how they could, quote, fix it and make it right.
Okay, we heard him mention secret society. Now, let's look at the secret society speech that got JFK killed. Today is the 51st anniversary of the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. This post contains the complete audio and written transcript of JFK's secret society speech. Pay particular attention to the part of the speech that begins at 6:20. Kennedy wasn't the only president to warn us about a secret, invisible government running the U.S. See verified warnings from former U.S. presidents about the invisible government running the U.S. with no allegiance to the people. Okay, let's watch that video.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. But I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
Okay, I just want to go over the speech that he gave. I have found the full speech in written form. I've copied and pasted it, and I'm going to, I've enlarged what I want to talk about. So I'm just going to go back over it. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically, sorry about my dogs, opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. Now, I do remember hearing Bush talk about, or being referred to secret societies. I remember hearing both Bushes talking about they are definitely going to bring in a new world order. So I think President Kennedy was trying to warn us of this fact, and it cost him dearly. But we decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions, or arbitrary, sorry. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. Now, what has been under attack since the 60s and President Kennedy died? Our traditions, our values, our traditions. They have been attacked, and now look at where we are today. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it is in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. Today, no war has been declared, and however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion. Our way of life is under attack, and those who make themselves our enemy are advancing around the globe. The survival of our friends is in danger, and yet no war has been declared. No borders have been crossed by marching troops. No missiles have been fired. It requires a change in outlook, a change in tactics, a change in missions by the government, by the people, by every businessman or labor leader, and by every newspaper. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration. So let's remember that word, because we have been infiltrated. We've not been invaded, but on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections. What about the rigged election? What about the recent rigged election with the DNC, where it was rigged in Hillary's favor against Bernie Sanders? And then, of course, there's evidence to believe that the Alabama was rigged as well. Roy Moore, that has been traditionally a Republican seat, and here we go. After we hear of the rigging of the DNC, it's been, Roy Moore didn't win that, and there's reason to believe that it was rigged, and I don't believe it's over yet, and especially with everything coming out right now on intimidation instead of free choice. So what has been, the left mostly does to us as conservatives, they try to, and not just them, but a lot of people, they'll intimidate. They'll call you names. They'll call you racist. They put you down. They, and look at the Antifa and, the rioting and all of these things. And President Kennedy was right. They'll use intimidation instead of letting people have free choice. On guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, now Listen to this. Tightly knit, highly efficient machine. You hear them talk about a lot. I have through many, many years talk about Clinton machine. And there's a well-oiled machine going on in Washington that is hard to penetrate. It's hard to bring down. I mean, he's talking about it's a highly efficient machine that combines, what does it combine? Military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Well, now we know it's expanded to the school system because that was done by Lyndon B. Johnson, I believe, where the Board of Education was taken over by the government. So once they had President Kennedy out of the way, they have done a heyday on the American people. They have shredded our Constitution. Their plan, they had planned for Hillary to win, and let me read this real quick and then I'll go to that. But somebody did tweet this out and I saved it. And I'll have everything up at my website, but it's been over 50 years in the making, but the deep state, treason, corruption, and secret society is beginning to unravel. I believe that the death of President JFK was no doubt due to the fear of this underworld existence. And look at this. FBI official, FBI agents threaten physical harm to President Trump and missing FBI text and other frightening communication. Now, those FBI texts, as we heard Gowdy say earlier, talked about a secret society, and also they were talking about doing harm to him, or I believe to his family as well. And I have this picture here. It was sent out by John Miranda. And who is John Miranda? Well, he is a freelance journalist and political analyst. He's former member of the U.S. Navy, and he's also the U.S. national swimming team. So, and this picture, you might be able to enlarge it. I'm not able to enlarge it here to where it can be seen, but it showed 16-year plan to destroy America and bring us into that one world order that they've been planning for us, taking away our freedoms. Our Constitution is the only way, as I keep saying, it's the only thing that stands between us and tyranny. And Barack Obama, he talked about shredding it. It's an old document, doesn't apply to us anymore, needs to be done away with. Well, there goes your freedoms, guys. I mean, but anyway, it showed what he did in his 8 years, what Hillary was going to do in her 8 years. And they thought they had it all tied up, but I've also got down here to please pray for President Trump. He is up against a takeover that infiltrated our government and is being run by traitors since the death of Kennedy. President Trump, like President Kennedy, is loyal to the country and the American people, and I really believe that. They can't buy him off, and they will be exposed, and you can see it's already happening, and this is why we're getting this. Because he is for the American people. But do not fear. President Trump working with a select group of high-level patriots to take down the shadow government known as the Deep State Criminal Network. An anonymous group of patriots are working behind the scenes to inform the public. Well, guys, I hope this has been informative, and I just, I don't have anything to add to this. I think I've pretty much covered everything that I know and that I was able to uncover or find. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day.